much, everyone, for staying with us on the program. But the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, APC, has zoned the leadership of the 10th National Assembly, according to a statement and a press briefing that held by the National Public Secretary of the APC, Mr. Felix Moka, yesterday. The zoning arrangement is now being made public. So this is how it looks. The Senate presidency will now go to the South-South, and specifically, the APC has now put a name to it. Causeway Akpabio from Akpabio is the nominee for that position, and for the Northwest is Senator Barau Jibrin from Northwest Kano State, precisely. And for the House of Representatives is Honorable Abbas Tajuddin from Kaduna State Northwest, and the Deputy Speaker Southeast, Honorable Ben Kalu from Abia State. This is how things are looking right now. Is this justified from wherever you may be assessing and looking at things generally? Akpabio, South-South, Barau Jibrin, Northwest, Deputy Senate President, Southeast, Deputy Speaker, and the Northwest Speakership. And so this is how things are looking at the moment. Let's get some perspectives on how the APC is zoning and what the reasons behind what they've done. I'm being joined by a member of the House of Representatives representing your state in the House of Reps, Honorable Akin Alabi. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight. My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And I have the National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Mr. Felix Moka. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to see you. Yeah, thank you. It's good to see you. Thank you. I think I should begin with you before I come to you, Honorable Alabi, because a lot of people are worried when they saw the zoning, because what a lot of people will think about is zoning that also Northwest, Northeast, then you allow people to run. But your party had now micromanaged the situation, sort of. What was the sense behind that?
Thank you so much, Ewan. Now, the announcement we made yesterday was the outcome of this protracted consultations and engagements with the leaders of our party and stakeholders, including many of those who have expressed aspiration for these offices of presiding officers of the incoming 10th Assembly. Now, yes, within the rubric of that engagement, yes, the issues of the zones were offered as recommendations. But, the party went beyond that to indicate, the preference, the outcomes of these consultations and some of the, what was emergent consensus of these leaders and stakeholders in terms of the individuals and the aspirants who have expressed their interest, to vie for these offices. Now, I know, Shehu, that what you said is true, that typically, parties may zone to regions and leave off that micro level, specification of, suggestions of individuals. But that's one modus. We at the APC, we thought it's necessary to actually go a step further, because the field already, as we see it, was already getting very heavy. And just to, I think, give some to sort of reduce the scope of contention, we thought we'd go a step further. So to actually make that offer.
So I put this, you have a national chairman who is a sitting senator. I mean, well, he was a senator. He was a senator. Now, as soon as he opted to be national chairman, he had to leave office. So now the question is that one would have thought that experience will prevail. You have a national secretary of your party who was a former senator, and you have your president-elect, your vice president-elect, who bring in the National Assembly. Now, the question is, this politics is a politics at the Hollow Chamber. The politics that is played at the Hollow Chamber. Perhaps you've not heard the anger when you guys came out with that position. I mean, that you are now typecasting the zoning of this position to names. That means your party has come out with favorites and excluded people. which some people have described as undemocratic. How would your party go that far, and that you have solely determined and you've cut out every interest that is possible?
So in our constitution, consensus is a mode for the selection of those who play whatever role, in whatever capacity.
Would you say this is consensus?
No. That's what, I'm not calling it that, but I'm coming to that. Consensus is a mode for the selection of those who play whatever role that the Constitution actually prescribes for the party. Meaning that you can negotiate and engage and consult to the point where there is some level of apparence in terms of what might be a preferred position for the party. But let me say this, and I've read a lot of commentary about this. I think we're making a big deal out of this unnecessarily. At the end of the day, the party is only offering ideas and suggestions, looking at the big picture. Because, sometimes when people aspire, they are, sometimes, blind-sided by their aspiration and don't quite see the, full national interest. But the party is in a position to see, that national interest. Because, those of us who are in the party, the national chairman, we're not aspirants to these positions.
But did you consult these people?
Yes,
if you consulted all of the candidates.
We look. Let me just say, I'm a lawyer. I like to qualify. Let me say that we consulted the greater majority of these our party men and women who are aspiring. And by the way, in the statement that I gave yesterday, I made it clear this is not cast in any kind of, the party is not saying this must be. We are simply offering recommendations, because at the end of the day, votes are to be taken on the floor of both the Senate and House of Representatives. So you recognize that your party members can go against this on the floor? You know what? Look, every party member, including members of the opposition, have constitutional liberty to aspire. APC is not about to circumscribe the fundamental rights of anyone. It does look like you have done that. No, we have not done. That's what it looks like. No. See, look. If you did not open the field, and what you just basically said is that there's only one slot, only one nomination form, and you have put the name of the. That is what you have done. Look. If you did that, it would have been that you have opened it up, but you did not open it up. You just put back the slide, please, my producer, so that Mr. Moka can understand the picture, a pictorial reference of what you did yesterday and your party. This is what you have done. You have incidentally just said, nobody, you have to work according to what the APC and its stakeholders I disagree,
have done.
That's an unfair characterization of what we did. There's nothing we did yesterday.
Is this against what you did?
I can read.
Is it a true picture of what you did?
Hang on. This is your, graphic representation
of what you did,
or of your understanding of what we did.
Of what you did.
That's not what we did.
Okay, so let me go over. Senator Akpabio from Akpabio, is that your nomination for Senate presidency? Okay. Is that your nomination?
Thank you for the word nomination.
Is that your nomination? No, say yes or no. Is that your nomination, Mr. Moka?
Hang on. The party is not in a position to nominate. We didn't nominate.
What did you do? You selected yesterday?
We simply zoned. And if you maybe I should read the statement again to you.
I have a statement too.
If you have it,
please go ahead.
What I said in that statement was that we received reports of consultations made by the party. It's there.
I have it. Yeah,
so the NWC received these reports, and that these are the zoning arrangement suggested by the totality of the engagement and consultation conducted by the party on all levels, and that we are offering that as recommendation to our members, and hopefully to some reasonable progressive members of the opposition to consider. Now, at the end of the day, you see, when you have a situation where certain individuals have a right to vote, and actually accreditation for that vote is specific, meaning that you can't just stroll in or saunter in and get accredited. I'm not an elected member of the assembly. I don't have a vote. But there are some people who have a vote. They will cast their vote. We're simply saying to them, we could have said, we're not going to zone. and then we come out to individuals and say, look, you know what, support A or B. I have a right as a citizen to do so. And the party, as an aggregate of citizens who form voluntarily a political party, have a right individually and collectively to actually come into a program and actually suggest to them that we think that Peter or Paul should be supported. That is a valid engagement. Right. There should be no interrogation of that.
Just give me a moment, because there's one thing that you have to explain to Nigerians also tonight.
Correct.
The rationale behind the zoning.
Yes.
So let me come to yet another person who is complicit. In all of this.
Did you know this was an inquisition? I didn't know. You should have told me.
No,
you weren't warned.
Absolutely.
This is a friendly inquisitorial process.
That's right. No worries.
So no arms, no offense. But you are complicit in the sense that the last time you were sitting right here.
Yeah.
And you told me that Tajuddin Abbas.
No, that's not what I said.
No, you mentioned him, and it looked so much that you are off the school of thought that is one of the favorites.
No, I've been for Tajuddin Abbas.
That's your man.
I wasn't shy.
Oh, you are an institution man.
But let me explain to you.
Honorable, you are an institution man. It looks like this is premeditated.
Come now. Let's do a revision.
Okay.
When I was here, we talked about Senate, right? And if you are a student of politics, you will notice the trends, right? We looked at the Senate. We said we have a Muslim ticket for the presidency and the vice president-elect. Then we said the number 3 man, I think is likely going to go to the south. I don't know whether it's going to be southeast. I don't know whether it's going to be south-south. And 2 prominent people, when you mention the southeast and south-south, you talk about the likes of Ojozo Kalu. You talk about Senator Godswill Akpabio. So by the time you go to south-south-southeast, Southern Christian for the number 3 position, then number 4 position, a zone like the Northwest will ask you, we gave you the highest number of votes during the election. What are we going to get? I think it's only natural. But North Central also did very well within differentials, right? But Northwest will ask you. So if Northwest has a say, then they can say number 4. It's only natural that you will look at the candidates in the Northwest. And I looked at the candidates in the Northwest. They're quality people across board, across all the zones. They're quality in the Northwest as well. But I looked at Tajuddin Abbas. We talked about his qualities. We talked about the PTO. We talked about having the highest number of bills in the last assembly, both Senate and House of Reps. That's the highest number of bills. If you look at the order paper every day, you look at Tajuddin Abbas. He's a parliamentarian extraordinary. So I supported him. But apart from supporting him, we all have our biases in the house. We all have our individual preferences. But we still formed a group called the Joint Task. We said that, hey, we are going to follow the zoning formula of the ruling party. And Joint Task is not just APC members. It cuts across all the political parties represented, that's going to be represented in the 10th Assembly. It's co-chaired by Honorable Kumu, who is from the northeast part of the country, APC, co-chaired by Honorable Kingsley Chinda of the PDP, River State. The secretary is Honorable Medaki, NMPP, Kano State. So it cuts across party lines. But we said, forget your individual biases. From that day, I dropped my individual bias. And I became one of the spokespeople of the Joint Task. And we welcomed everybody. Even if you're supporting A, you're supporting B, once you agree that you're going to follow the zoning formula of the ruling party, of the majority party, we came together and formed the Joint Task. And now the ruling party, the zoning has been done, so the Joint Task now, we are endorsing Tajuddin Abbas for speakership. It's a very simple process.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a corroboration of, and I say you are complicit because your analysis at that time looks so much like the position of the party, and now you just corroborated it.
If you're a student of politics, you'll see how things are going. And then look at the analysis.
You guys had it all planned out. Now,
I don't have the power to do that.
No. But you are an institution person. You are a friend of the inner circle. Now, the question I'm going to ask you now is the fact that, are you getting reaction already from your colleagues? Some of whom, I mean, a senator was here yesterday, and they feel very slighted. They feel very bad that there are no consultations. that the APC is going the way it went the other time and it was beaten. Are you guys aware of the threats that this poses?
I cannot speak for the Senate, right? But from what I know with the House of Representatives, I know there are consultations. And let me tell you something. Consultation is an ongoing process. Consultation is not a one-day thing. It's not a one thing. It's not one event, 90 minutes of football, for example. It's an ongoing process. Consultations will happen every day. And we've still got over 1 month before the inauguration and election. And I tell you for free, exclusively, not exclusively, we're speaking to the world now anyway.
Just imagine you're talking to me alone.
Right now,
yeah.
As I talk to you.
Don't let the whole world hear.
The president-elect,
yeah.
Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, is still meeting with some people that have signified their interest to become speaker.
Is that happening in Lagos?
It's happening. Just let's just tell you that. It's happening. So that's consultation. And it's going to happen from now till June 13th when we're going to have the inauguration.
But is it fair that you have allowed some of them use their money? If you're coming from the airport or going in, I mean, either way, if you're coming into town from the airport arena, you see members of the House who are already campaigning. Some of them had gone, they've done the unveiling of their manifesto. Why did you allow them to go through that task of trying to spend their hard-earned resources to do all that? Then you're now coming out with it. Is that fair?
Well, I think the leadership can explain why they did it at that particular time. Maybe they should have done it earlier. Maybe they should have done it later. In their wisdom, they've decided to do it now. People came out to signify intention. About 10 or so or 11 people came out. And they are all fantastic parliamentarians. But we have to come up with an arrangement where we're going to line up behind someone. And when you said it's a bit unfair to the party, when you said you shut everybody down and you offered only one nomination. There's no nomination form involved in speakership. But anybody can get up on that day and say, I nominate this person, and the votes and the person will automatically...
Honorable, Nigerians are not stupid.
So
hold on. I will take that from you because it is obvious. You are members of the political party. The political party, as a ruling party, has a prerogative to be the one, just a moment, to be the one to determine how you want to go in the leadership of the party. But when your political party says, this is Akin Alabi, is the man we want, you have definitely typecast it
have
to
you
one
forgotten
person.
that we have less than half of the members-elect, APC? So when you say we're typecasting everything like it's in, we're not even up to half.
No, but that's what the party has done.
We're not even up to half. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
In a straight and literary term, that is what your party has done.
What I'm saying...
You might see it as give a political meaning to it, but that's what your party has done.
No, the party has recommended. I said, this is where we're going. Less than half of the members-elect, this is where we're going. Those others can support us from other parties across. That doesn't mean others won't still come out to say they are interested.
All right.
What if all the other opposition parties come out and say, we are voting one block?
Guess what?
What if that happens?
The minority parties saying they are going to throw their hat in the ring. Are you aware of that?
Well, I just explained to you that the joint task that I belong to, that I'm the spokesperson, we are made up of members across all political parties. And I told you the co-chairman is PDP.
But I'm saying that they are outside of your joint task. They call themselves the larger majority or the greater majority. And they say, with what your party has done, they will challenge you at the House.
Can I weigh in on that?
Please go ahead.
On that, there's no such thing as monolithic opposition. No such thing. These individuals who constitute the opposition come from, they're individuals, first of all. Second of all, they represent, different constituencies with sometimes varied interests. When push comes to shove, each member will have to, answer their name in terms of their own calculations of their own strategic best interests. So the fact that they're in PDP or they're in Labour or they're in NMPP does not mean that on the day of vote, they will necessarily vote along opposition lines. Sometimes your best interest can be better guaranteed by actually, riding with the majority party or with, some other, disclosed interest. So the point I'm making is that, yes, it is true that we have made recommendations, but that's what it is. We are not sitting as a party pretending to be dictating to this is the legislature. It's an independent arm of government. You know, just like you have the executive branch, you have the legislative branch and the judicial branch, which is a bit different because, you know, they're not elected the same way legislators and people in the executive branch are elected. But make no mistake, I think that what we're doing is simply offering direction to our members and for that matter to other members of the National Assembly.
A narrow direction.
Who may choose, but narrow or not, direction is direction.
Well,
you know what? People say, look, if you have one rapper as, you know, and if this is all I have, listen, all that matters is that I wash it every day and I wear it. It doesn't matter whether I have 20 or 10, you know, things to change. So long as I turn out neat and, you know, decent, I think people will, you know, understand.
So give us a sense behind the zoning. Maybe we'll touch on the individuals and the personalities that are being typecast into the roles. But let's look at the zoning. Whether or not that is even fair. For the Senate President, South-South, what was the reasoning behind a South-South and a North-West?
Why not a South? Why not South-South?
You should explain to us why you decided.
I start my explanation by asking, why not?
Because you are from the South-South.
No. Far from it. You know me better than
I'm asking.
No, I'm not one of those.
No, I put you right on the spot.
Yes, I am from
so you need to explain yourself.
I am from the South-South.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, I don't see why the South-South is seen eligible for consideration for Senate presidency. After all, no Senate president has come from that region in this, you know, current since 1999, in this current dispensation. We haven't had that. You know, other regions have had, you know, some representation. Southeast, for instance, I mean, 5 of them who have, you know, held that position from the Southeast. Now, listen, that does not mean that the Southeast is, again, ineligible or unfit to produce Senate president. Every region of this country can. But you know, there's something else that we're concerned about. It's called national interest. It's called equity. It's called inclusion. It's called a sense of ownership.
Why not, you know, Southeast? If you're truly looking at inclusion.
See, I'm sorry, I don't usually answer questions with questions. But why not South-South? Why not even North Central? Why not, you know, not even Northeast or Northwest? Why not any other region in this country? Fact is that the party is looking at some very solid, you know, parameters of consideration and ensuring that every region gets a fair shake. And let me say this, this thing about the, you know, incoming administration. Now, I say that with the executive and the legislative branch in mind. It's not exclusive to just these presiding officer positions. When the president is inaugurated, there's so many positions that are prestigious and powerful in our national, you know, polity that also are there.
Have you considered all of these positions with the equation that you have put forward?
You see, today is what, May 9th? Mm-hmm. We cannot sit today on May 9th to decide or discuss events that can only happen tomorrow. Meaning that tomorrow will come. May 29th will come by the grace of God. And a president will be inaugurated. Once inaugurated, he now has the authority.
I'm sure your party is not that naive to wait until that time before looking at all of the gamut.
Until the decision is made, it's not made. And we cannot sit to second guess, speculate.
So how do you hope to pacify a North Central and a Southeast, for example?
You see, North Central, for example, our national chairman is from North Central. You know, they're not without anything for as of today. But what else will come to North Central? That is to be seen.
Is that the same reason why the Southeast is also played out?
You know,
left out of this equation?
My point is that this conversation, I would like to come back here after May 29th, when this president-elect has taken, you know, the authority of office to actually look at the full spectrum of what is done, to then look at the equity of it. That, I think, would be a fairer conversation.
I mean, if you're talking about equity, I'm not sure a lot of people will agree that there's anything equitable in these, but it does look like a regimental position of your party. On a final point, Honorable, is your party ready for the battle that could come and the consequences of some of what has played out here? Politically speaking.
The party have recommended, right? It's up to lawmakers to go on, elected members, to go on with the politics of electing a speaker, right? Like I told you, consultation is still going on. Consultation is not a one-day thing. Sorry, I'm repeating it. And it's happening again as I'm talking to you. So a lot of people will... I wouldn't be surprised if someone from the PDP comes out tomorrow and says wants to be speaker. Right?
They're already planning that.
So a lot of things will still happen, a lot of politics. The party, they've played their part. It's up to us to do our politics. Now, if you want to be the speaker, you have to do some politics to win people, to whip votes to your side. You need 181 votes, right? If to win, if it's not going to go into a runoff, right? If there are 3 people, then you still need 181. If you don't get 181, the last person will drop off. The top 2 will continue to the next round of elections. So you need to meet individuals. So all the candidates coming out, right, they will still need to...
Although there are allegations that there have been alteration of this standing order in respect
there's
of
nothing
this.
called alteration. It was passed rightfully. I can show you the votes and proceedings of the House. Not today, not 1 year ago. Votes and proceedings, we have the records. The chairman of the ad hoc committee, Professor Lebere, has come out to put out the statement, and there are proofs, not just a statement. Anybody can put out the statement, but the votes and proceedings, the document you can verify at the House of Representatives, then everything was above board.
Mr. Moka, you guys...
And it's just voice. Is this the voice vote issue you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with that?
Well, we'll find out.
It would be nice for the people to see who you're voting. People voted for you. To be nice for them to see who you're voting for on the floor.
It's interesting. Interesting times.
Interesting times.
If anything other than these that happen, I would be surprised. I know the APC is very controversial in most of these decisions, and I'm hoping to see, because you have a very political president-elect and vice president-elect.
The ruling party.
And when you have political people in offices, controversy.
Just to round up the joint task, like I said, today we're formally declaring for Honorable Tajudeen Abbas for Speaker.
All right. Interesting times.
That's right.
I'm laughing because I'm a political journalist.
That's right.
And this is what I do for a living.
Absolutely.
And I'm hoping to see more of these fireworks happening.
I know.
I mean, I will never pray that you have it easy. That's where my job gets interested.
Never easy.
Felix Moka, thank you so much indeed for coming.
Good to be here.
Honorable Akpabio, thank you so much indeed, everyone.